You know, more than 1 billion people around the world are dealing with mental health challenges, and the need for support is just staggering. And AI, it looks like this incredible solution, right? Therapy that's available for anyone at any time. But as we've raced to build these digital therapists, it brings up a really important question.
How do we actually get from an AI that's good at, summarizing an email to one we can genuinely trust with our deepest thoughts and feelings? Getting that right, well, that's the whole ballgame for unlocking AI's true potential in mental health care.
So a group of researchers finally built a way to really put these AIs to the test. And the answer they got, well, it wasn't what anyone was hoping for.
Seriously, you heard that right. When they were put through this brand new, super tough clinical test, the most advanced AIs out there, the ones you read about every day, they all failed. Every single one. They just didn't hit the bare minimum for being clinically reliable. So what in the world is going on here?
Well, it turns out the problem wasn't just the AI. A big part of it was how we've been measuring them all along. We've kind of had this huge blind spot. The tech has been moving so fast, but our ability to actually check if it's safe and effective, it's been lagging way behind. See, for a long time, checking if an AI therapist was any good was, well, it was more art than science. It was all about vibes and book smarts. You'd ask, does it sound empathetic? Does it know the textbook definitions? But look, when we're talking about something as serious as mental health care, vibes just don't cut it. We need to get to real hard clinical validation. Okay, so the old tests had 3 huge flaws. First, they mixed up knowing stuff with actually doing stuff. Like, an AI can spit out the definition of depression, sure, but does that mean it knows how to build trust with someone who's really struggling? Totally different things. Then, they were static. They'd look at one single answer. But therapy isn't a quiz. It's a conversation, right? It's dynamic. It flows. And finally, without actual experts setting the standards, it was all just guesswork. It was vibes, not validation.
Okay, so to fix this, to really measure what counts, researchers basically had to invent a brand new ruler, a new yardstick built specifically for the messy human world of therapy.
And that's where something called MindEvow comes in. It's this new automated system, and here's the key part. It was built hand in hand with clinical psychologists. Its whole job is to measure an AI's actual skills in a conversation that feels real. The best way to think about it, it's like a flight simulator for AI therapists.
And the way it works is honestly pretty brilliant. You have 3 AIs in this simulation. One AI plays the patient, and it's got a whole backstory, real symptoms, the works. The second AI is the one being tested. It's the clinician. And after they have their conversation, a third AI, the judge, comes in and grades the whole thing based on real clinical standards.
So, what exactly is this AI judge looking for? This isn't just about getting the right answer. No, this is a super deep clinical review of the entire session.
It grades the AI on 5 core areas, and these aren't just made up. They're based on the same guidelines used to train human therapists. We're talking about everything from clinical accuracy and making ethical choices, all the way to, can the AI actually build a real therapeutic connection? It even looks at communication stuff that's unique to AI. This is just a world away from the old multiple-choice style tests.
Okay, so now that we have this proper yardstick in place, let's get back to the results. What did we actually learn when we put today's top AI models through this thing?
The results were pretty shocking, actually. On their 6-point scale, a score of 4 is the bare minimum you need to be considered clinically reliable. And the average score for the best AIs today, it was less than 4. Not a single model they tested actually passed.
And this chart really shows you that gap, right? You can see the average AI score hovering around 3.8. It's so close to that critical line of 4.0, but it's not there. And in healthcare, almost isn't good enough. You have to be over that line every time. You know, one of the most interesting things to come out of this was a totally counterintuitive idea. We always think bigger is better with AI, right? But it turns out just because a model is massive and great at, say, writing code, that doesn't automatically make it a good therapist. For these very specific, very human skills, bigger is not always better.
And this might be the most important takeaway of all. The AIs were at their worst in the exact moments when a patient would need them the most. Their performance tanked when they were talking to patients with severe symptoms. The quality got worse the longer the conversation went on, like they just lost the thread, and a lot of them just fell back on this really unhelpful habit of saying things like, everything will be okay, that kind of empty reassurance that can actually do more harm than good.
So, where does this leave us? What does this mean for the future of AI in healthcare? It's not that the dream is dead, not at all.
but it's a huge wake-up call that our approach needs to change. Big time.
And really, this is the bottom line. General-purpose AIs, the ones built to do a little bit of everything, are just not ready for the specialized, high-stakes world of healthcare. The path forward isn't just about building bigger AI brains, it's about a complete shift in how we design, train, and most critically, how we test these systems for these incredibly important jobs.
Which brings us to the big question we have to ask ourselves as we move forward. As AI gets more and more tangled up in our health and our lives, how do we build real trust? A trust that's not just based on fancy code, but on a solid foundation of standards, rigorous testing, and accountability. How do we build trust that goes beyond the algorithm?